All right, let's jump right in. Deep in the mountains of Chiapas, Mexico, there's a different kind of story being written. You know, it's not just about resisting a system. It's about building an entirely new world from the ground up. Today, we're going to explore the Zapatista Common and how they're preparing to face what they call the storm.
Just imagine a storm. Not the kind with rain and thunder, but one where whole systems are collapsing around us. You've got forests burning, democracies hollowing out, and this sort of numbness setting in. It's a really powerful and, yeah, unsettling image, but it's absolutely central to how the Zapatistas see the world.
So, what is this storm really? The Zapatistas call it La Tormenta, which is just Spanish for the storm. But believe me, this isn't something you can track on a weather app.
No, this isn't about meteorology. This is a storm of civilization. It's what happens when all our global crises, environmental collapse, the rise of authoritarianism, runaway capitalism, all crash into each other at the same time. It's a fundamental threat to everything.
But see, the image gets even more intense. In their own Mayan language, Jactan, the word they use is uka-axel-kaknao, and its literal translation is the burning forest. Now that is a visceral image of a world just engulfed in chaos, where everything we thought was solid just goes up in flames. So what do you do when the whole forest is on fire? The Zapatista answer isn't to build higher walls to protect yourself, it's to plant deeper roots. Their response is all about cultivating and strengthening what they call el común Zapatista, the Zapatista Common.
And let's be really clear here. This isn't just a commune or, sharing your stuff. The common is a much, much deeper idea. It's about creating a shared being, a collective existence that's the direct challenge to our modern obsession with the individual.
This really gets to the heart of it. In a world that is just obsessed with I, me, mine, they live by we. Their autonomous schools, their local councils, their communal fields. These aren't just separate programs. They see them as interconnected heartbeats in one single living body.
But here's where we get to the core of this whole explainer. To really, truly get what the Zapatistas are doing, we have to understand that something crucial gets lost in translation. Something gets missed when we pull these ideas out of their native language, into Spanish, and then into English.
It makes you stop and ask, what do these words actually mean to them? What's the worldview, the way of feeling and being that's baked right into the language itself? There's a term for this, ontological drift. It's that subtle but totally unavoidable change in meaning that happens when you carry an idea from one culture to another. You're not just swapping words, you're trying to translate entire realities, whole ways of being, and something always changes along the way. Okay, let's break this down, because this table shows that drift perfectly. In Spanish, el común is a noun, right? A thing. But in Jactan, it's uhantel winakub, their gathering of people. See that? It's not a thing. It's an action. It's the verb of being together. The storm, la tormenta, becomes ukaxil-kaknal, the living crisis of the burning forest. Resistance, a political strategy, becomes kuhajilab, literally those who endure pain. It's an internal, embodied strength. And rebellion, this one's amazing. It's not an act of opposition. It becomes chubalilo, the rising up, like a plant just naturally growing out of the earth.
So the big takeaway here is this: we're not just looking at a list of translated words. We are watching entire ways of being get translated, and in the process, transformed.
Here is one last perfect example. The word for to understand is na'atik. Its root, na'a, means heart. So, in this way of seeing the world, to truly understand something isn't just about thinking. It is to know it with your heart. It's an emotional, intuitive, almost ethical kind of knowing. And this idea of heart knowing, well, it's the foundation for their whole philosophy of action. It's really a two-part process, having the power to endure and then finding the courage to rise.
This slide just lays it out so beautifully. Resistance isn't some hard shield you hold up to fight something off. It's more like soil. It's this deep, patient art of carrying hardship with dignity. And rebellion, it's not about destruction, it's about emergence. It's a creative act, like a stalk of corn pushing its way up through the dark soil.
So first you have kuhajil. This is that embodied strength we were talking about. It's a resilience that comes from patience and integrity, not from anger. It's that deep, collective power to endure the storm without breaking. That's their foundation. And then, growing out of that strong foundation, is chupalil. This is the rising up. And it's seen as this natural, life-affirming thing. It's not an act of aggression. It's a creative force, like a living thing breaking through the surface and reaching for the light. This is how they build their new world.
So, what's the lesson here for us? What does this all mean for those of us facing our own kinds of storms? The takeaway really is about that shift from I to we. It's about becoming the common. When you look at it through this lens, the Zapatistas offer such a powerful alternative. They show us that rebellion can actually be a gentle, creative act, that autonomy isn't about being alone, it's about building compassionate communities. And maybe the most important lesson of all, that the future doesn't belong to the strongest individual, but to those who remember how to gather.
And that perspective, it leads to this completely radical reimagining of what change even looks like. Maybe the revolution isn't about fighting harder or winning some big battle. Maybe it's quieter than that. Maybe it's just about remembering how to live together.
So, the final question it leaves all of us with is this. As we stand here, facing our own storms, the huge crises of our time, the real challenge isn't just how to survive them, it's how to let them transform us. How do we become the common before the fire arrives?